Today, I just want to speak to you about why a righteous person is impossible to control. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we are alive, so we're living. So, when we look at life, we realize that, the easiest way to control a person is to give them what they want or what they think that they need. How do I mean by that? Well, most people in the world just want to be successful. They just want to earn a salary. They just want to have a means to buy food. And what does Jesus say? Jesus says that, you know, first seek his righteousness. That means God's righteousness and his kingdom. All these things shall be added to you. Jesus is saying that we shouldn't focus on jobs, on education, on marriages, on whatever, on temporal things. What we should focus on is knowing God and understanding God. Because when we know his righteousness, we will understand him. And we will start living in accordance with the way that he wants life to be lived in a righteous manner. Because we will know what is right and what is wrong. And then Jesus goes on to say that these things, these jobs, these marriages, these successes that people seek in the world, these financial freedoms, this power, these celebrities, this fame that people seek, is what the Gentiles seek. So he's saying that you're not a Gentile. So in our day, we will not say what the Gentiles seek because there's no more a Gentile. There's only believers and non-believers. So this is what non-believers seek. So a person who's not Christian, all they really want is to succeed. They have no any other reason to exist whatsoever. Whatever they do contributes to what they think or what they interpret or what they describe as success. When they get married, they believe that is success. When they get money, they believe that is success. When they become famous and become musicians or actors, they believe what that is success. But Jesus Christ says, don't focus on that. So the man or the person who gives you these things which you think is your need is the one who is able to control you. In the same way that a righteous man believes that everything that he needs is in Christ. So he submits himself to Christ because he knows that what he needs is in Christ. So he submits to Christ knowing that he's going to get what he wants. So in the same way as a man at work submits himself to his boss, knowing that he needs the salary that the boss is going to give. And because he submits himself to his boss is going to control him. Controlling him does not necessarily mean that he's going to command him to do what is wrong. It means that he's going to do everything that his boss wants him to do. And if it happens that his boss is evil, he's going to do the evil that his boss wants him to do. Which makes me say that the righteous man, the Christian, the one who believes in God, the one who is submissive to Christ, the one who has the image of Christ within his heart, he's difficult to control because the way that the world works, it's all about success and accumulation of goods and fame. And the people who are given the fame, the people who are given these goods, the people who are given this gold of the world, are the people who are able to control all the other people. You see, so a man will submit himself to an evil leader or an evil boss just because this boss is giving him a way up the ladder. He's giving him the means to be able to afford a house, a car, to afford holidays, vacations in exotic places and all this. He cannot think that, no, I cannot submit myself to this man. This man is evil. The way he makes his money is just bad. Well, the thing is that he's not righteous. So all that he really wants is to make it. So people that's why, people just say, no, I'm just here to get what is mine. I'm just here to get money. So they don't care about what is really going on around them. All they care about is as long as I get money. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But what must happen is that it should matter. It should matter how we earn our salary, how we earn our living. You cannot just say, because some companies will have bad policies in terms of salary increments and in terms of the way they treat people. You cannot say that just because I have a future, I have potential to be a manager or to be someone important in the company. And if I become that important person in the company, I'm gonna earn a lot more money and I'm gonna have a better lifestyle. Like I can afford to buy these things which I want. And I don't care about how the company is treating this other people, this group of employees. The same way as in South Africa during apartheid, we had apartheid regime treating people in a very terrible manner. People were killed. People were were abused, and children, students were murdered, and some people were lost because they were running away from apartheid. And even today, people don't know whether they died or they're still alive. And then you had Christians at the time who were, the beneficiaries of apartheid, who won. When these things were happening, they would go to church on Sunday and praise the Lord. While all these things which are being done, which are the oppression of black people, the killing of black people, all these things which have been done to hurt black people, was to maintain this system, to ensure that these Christians, these white Christians who were benefiting from it, that the system is still intact. So they were benefiting from an evil regime and they couldn't care less. So they were benefiting from this regime. They were benefiting, getting all the things that you can get, jobs, businesses, and all these things. But this regime was murderous and evil. And this regime claimed to be Christian, but the Bible will contradict what they were saying. But because this, white Christians were benefited, they couldn't care less. They didn't speak out, they didn't do anything. Because they were not righteous and because they were not Christian. You see, because all they cared about was the things that Christ said, that don't pay attention to those things. Don't pay attention to success. Don't pay attention to business or money. Pay attention to what's more important, the knowledge of God. The beginning of wisdom is the knowledge of God. The fear of the Lord. But they didn't know God, and they had this thing. Because if they knew God, they would not want to be partakers in benefiting from this system for apartheid. But there were those in the very white people who were, there were those who didn't want the benefit from apartheid, who spoke out against it, and they were disowned by their own people. You see, that's why, because the righteous man doesn't really care about success. He cares about what is righteous. So it means that even when you're black, and then you have someone who's black doing something wrong, and a group of black people who are doing something wrong, and who are benefiting black people, and you speak out because of your righteousness, they will disown you as a black person. They will no longer treat you as a black person. They will treat you as the enemy. But those people who are benefiting are easy to control because as long as they get what they want, they can't care less about what is being done, which is evil. So they are being controlled. They are being used to do evil because for the evil that they do, they get what they really want. What they really want is money, power, and fame. And they don't care about the impact of what they're doing. So this is why it's very difficult to control a righteous person, because a righteous person cannot be bribed with money or success. A righteous person wants to do what is righteous and to love his neighbor like he loves himself. He doesn't care about the color of the skin of the other person. He knows that he must love everyone like he loves himself. So he will never accept what is evil just because he's benefiting from it. He will never accept what is hurtful to other people just because he's benefiting from it. And because of that, he cannot be controlled, because people are controlled by what they want, and most people want to be successful. And the one who gives you what you want is the one who becomes your master. He's the one who becomes your God. If a person makes you famous, he has the power to take away the fame from you. So if he says, I want you to do this, and you say, no, I cannot do that, that is evil, well, he's going to take the fame away from you. So the person who gives you your salary is the one who controls you. Why? Because if he says that I want you to do this and you don't do it, he has the power to no longer pay you a salary. So depending on whether you're righteous or not righteous, you're going to do something to get what you want, just because It's what you want. You don't care about whether this thing is righteous or not righteous. So the righteous man will say, well, I need money, I need a salary, but this thing is against the Lord. I cannot do this. And then he will not do that. And then he suffers. So he suffered because of his righteousness. You see, because he contradicts what the world wants, how the world works. So because it's not easy to control, he becomes the enemy. And because he becomes the enemy, he must be persecuted and even killed. I mean, Peter and John were told literally by the Pharisees that they must not preach in the name of Christ again. And what did they say? They said, well, we're going to preach in the name of this Christ again. It is up to you to do what you think is right. So these men are righteous. They don't care about life. They don't care about living. They don't care about reputations or power. They care about what is righteous. And what is righteous is to preach the Lord. And they did that. They didn't care about whether the Pharisees are going to arrest them or kill them or whatever, because they saw what they did to Christ. So they knew that if they were able to do that to Christ, to them it would be nothing, because Christ was the root of all this upheaval that went on in Jerusalem. So because they were righteous, they could not be controlled. The righteous are controlled by the Spirit of God. They're not controlled by earthly things or money or riches or whatever. They are controlled by the will of God. And they will not trade the will of God. They will not trade the righteousness which they have, which Christ has put in their heart, for anything. They will die if they have to. They will be, burned at the stake if they have to. They will be crucified upside down if they have to. As long as what they do is pleasing to the Lord. They don't care about what man said, and they don't care about what man can do. I mean, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were told that when when something happened, was supposed to be, they must worship the statue that Nebuchadnezzar has made. But they didn't do it. Why? Because they were righteous. So they could not be controlled. Because this thing that you must worship, this golden statue which Nebuchadnezzar is control. So you do exactly what he wants. You cannot decide what you want to do based on what is right or based on what you believe in. You must do exactly what Nebuchadnezzar was going to do, even if it's adultery. So this man said, we're not going to do it. And they were arrested. And they were told again, look, I'm going to ring a bell or whatever is it that they did so that they worship. They said, well, we only worship the God of heaven. And Nebuchadnezzar said that he hopes that this God is going to save them. Well, they say, well, they know that God is going to save them. And even if God doesn't save them, they're still not going to worship them. So it's like the righteous man doesn't really care. He cares of God. He wants God to save him. But he doesn't really care if God saves him or not. He's just going to do what is righteous regardless. That's how powerful the Spirit of God is in the heart of a man. That he's not saying that I'm not going to worship the statue or I'm not going to do what is righteous, hoping that because I'm righteous, God is going to save me. No, he's saying that I'm going to do what is righteous and let that which God wants to happen. If I die, then I die. But I'm going to worship this God. Job, when his wife said that, curse the Lord so you can die. And he said, well, should we not receive even bad from God if we receive good from God? So Job is saying, no, the Lord gave and the Lord took. Is what's pleasing to him, so I'm not going to curse him. Do you see that? So the righteous are not easy to control. They cannot be controlled, especially by men or by riches or by wealth. So that is all that I have to say about this, why the righteous people cannot be controlled or are not easy to control. If you have anything to say about what I've said, you can leave your comment below. And then if you like to receive comment like this, you can subscribe to my channel so you can receive comments like this. Thank you for listening.